Welcome back. I'm Richard Harmon. Welcome to the Magna Carta Sports Podcast Network. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the NBA as it's preparing to turn back into effect. Um, we have a lot of things going on. The summer has been absolutely unbelievable. Um, Last year we had the NBA Finals between the Boston Celtics and the um, Golden State Warriors. Golden State coming out on top after 6 games. Boston had them for a long period of time, but they ended up not being exactly ready for the moment. A whole lot has happened. Free agency, NBA draft. Um, Welcome, Alex. So we're here, just talking a little bit about the upcoming season for the NBA. Want to talk a little bit just on your thoughts on what's to expect, a little bit of perspective for what you think about the Knicks this year and the Eastern Conference as a whole.
Hi everybody, how you doing? My name is Alex, and about to give my little prediction on this NBA season and what I think, once you want to start off with the Knicks, which is my favorite team. What I feel about the Knicks and its plays, I feel like we definitely gonna make a push, like to at least get it into the playoffs this year. At least let's start with that, right? Last year we missed the playoffs, for whatever reason, I think that we did have the talent, like in terms of like the younger talent, the energy with the players and everything like that. But I think it's just like chemistry, right? I think it's some important pieces, whether it's like point guard, the knowledge from a point guard. I think last season they missed, that true knowledge, that expertise from point guards. RJ Barrett, I don't necessarily consider him a point guard, like he definitely knows how to play make, don't get me wrong, but like he's not like that. He's not that point guard where it's just pass first, so I think they definitely need that. But with that being said, I think that they need actually either a small forward, or a center that can kind of make a big impact. I'm
Yeah,
looking for that type of change. You know what I mean?
it's going to be interesting because like Jalen Brunson is he's going to be good. He's a steady point guard. He's going to be able to get you 16 to 20 points a game,
Right.
maybe 8 to 9 assists a game. Ideally, like in the ideal world,
Yeah.
what's the boy name? Your two guard
RJ.
RJ Barrett.
RJ
RJ
Barrett.
Barrett. RJ Barrett would be 6'9" in an ideal world, and
Right.
that would solve everything. But
Exactly.
he's 6'6" instead. So
Right.
they are missing that. It's also an issue right now with Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah.
You guys have a decent team. I think Obi Toppin right now
Mm.
is waiting to explode.
Right.
But
I
but
agree.
but but Tibbs is if Tibbs still had Joakim Noah, he'd probably play him 40 minutes a game. Like
So what do you think on that? Because I had like, sometimes I watch the game, right? And I see players with talent, even athleticism at that,
Mhm,
right? And then you look at the coach and they're not getting that much playing time, right?
mhm.
Do you think it's just something that the coach sees where it's like, man, he doesn't fit into this puzzle, you know?
I think what happens is people generations pass, right? So like you think about Bill Belichick, you think about Greg Popovich, you think about Tom Thibodeau. A
Hmm.
generation has kind of passed where they used to be like they bark at you, they say whatever they want to, and they get you
Right.
to play.
Hmm.
Today's generation of athletes, whether it's football or basketball, it's more of a collaboration. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I respect you, you respect me. We're both professionals. You know what I
Right.
mean? I make more to you nowadays, like as a
Right.
player. So the idea of you yelling at me nonstop isn't going to go for most players.
I
So you need
noticed
to
that.
be, yeah. So for him, he likes his guys that he has. He still has Derrick Rose on the team. He kept Taj Gibson for forever. But in order for the team to grow, you look at a lot of the young teams, whether it's the Timberwolves or the Grizzlies, they let their young players grow. And the more talented player is Obi Toppin in
Man,
comparison to those two, but he's not, you know what I mean?
don't get me wrong, like, like I think he's like athletic and has potential, but I
Hmm.
think it's just like the finer things, right? Like when it comes to like decision making, when it comes
Hmm.
to sure, I think he does need to get better with shooting. I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of people that with a lot of athleticism and it's just like
Hmm.
they're not as good in terms of shooting.
Yeah.
I think that's an essential part. because it's like, man, you're unstoppable. Because usually a dunker, they can finish at the rim pretty hard. So,
Yeah,
like, I think he just needs to work on that, and we'll see what happens this season. Like he probably
yeah.
is working on that this offseason.
And,
So,
and and it's cool because he looks like he's a worker. So it's like between
mhm.
your team is set up to be nice. Like the one thing is like I don't understand last year, right? The Knicks gave up a first round pick to bring in Cam Reddish, and
Right.
then he didn't play him like 3 or 4
It's
games straight.
crazy, bro.
You're like the Cam Reddish averaged like 10 or 12 points a game in the playoffs a year before, and
Right.
now he
With
he
the
can't
Hawks.
he can't get 5 minutes in your rotation. Like it
It's
doesn't make any
crazy.
sense at all. So yeah, it's I think no matter what, like it's if it wasn't for his connection to CAA, he probably would have been fired already.
Right.
But we'll see how this year goes because I think that the Knicks fan base, as they're
Hmm.
watching their younger players play, like they're not going to like just you know what I mean. Just
Yeah.
you see the ceiling with
Yeah.
the players, Julius Randle, stuff like that. So you want to get a
Right.
chance to see what the team can do.
Exactly. I agree. And you
Wh-
asked me a question about the Eastern Conference as well.
Yeah, what were your thoughts? Like you guys were tied to Donovan Mitchell for most of the summer,
Hmm.
and he ended up going to Cleveland instead. What was your thoughts? Like, were you hoping to get Donovan Mitchell? They were asking for 5 first-round draft picks. Are
Right.
you are
Yeah.
you are
No.
you are you are you cool with that, or
No,
what are
I'm
your
not.
thoughts?
I'm not cool with that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I actually enjoy watching Donovan Mitchell on Utah. I
Mhm.
actually, thought he was a good player, great player. But, in terms of like fitting into the piece that the puzzle that we currently have, like I don't
Mhm.
think he would have fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We have too many guards,
yeah,
and he's a ball dominant guard too.
yeah.
Um, I don't see like where he would have fit in that rotation really.
Yeah, and especially with Tibbs at the coach, I don't think he
Tibbs
would
as
he
a
would
coach,
yeah he wouldn't have liked him either. So it's like
you know.
I think overall, like you said, it hurts, but it was the right decision. Like like
Yeah,
like you know what I mean. Like even though they would have gut their team, like they were giving up Toppin, they were giving up RJ Barrett, they were giving up all those
yeah,
draft
no,
picks. Like it's a lot better. Like say like maybe for a better player, maybe I would have
mhm,
done it, but for Donovan Mitchell, it's kind of like
exactly.
let's let this year play out.
Yeah.
With that though, he went to the Cleveland Cavaliers. What are your thoughts on? How do you think Cleveland's gonna look this year?
They're gonna look better. Like, they're gonna look better. And like would I have wanted like additional talent on the Knicks? Yeah. But I think he actually fits well with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're
Hmm.
young team running at a fast pace. I think him in the backcourt with Garland, that's gonna look crazy.
Yeah,
So I think he'll fit in and he may actually be one of the more experienced players on that team right
yeah,
now.
for real. Yeah,
He made it to the playoffs,
hmm
made it pretty far compared to some of the players that's on there right now.
yeah,
And I think he could just add that fire to them too. They
yeah.
they are missing that piece. So I think we got
hmm
to see how that pans out. And I
I,
can
I,
see them probably going fourth or third seed.
yeah, I agree. And the thing I like about it is that like it takes the pressure off of Mobley. Like what
Right.
happens a lot of times, like somebody comes out, they ball a little bit in their rookie year, right? And there's a
Hmm.
whole lot of pressure for them to go from being just a player to being a superstar. I think
Right.
Mobley in year like 4 or 5, he'll be ready to take on that Anthony Davis type of role. But for
Right.
right now, all they need him to do is play defense, roll,
Hmm.
and shoot the three every once in a while. Like
Right.
Donovan Mitchell is exactly what they needed. Somebody who could carry the load for a while. They got
Right.
Jared Allen playing the center. They
Yeah.
got a bunch of different players. Like they're gonna be an interesting team overall. But the
Mhm.
Eastern Conference overall is deep. Like it's
They're
you know what I
deep,
mean. Like
man.
it's they you know what I mean. I'm a Sixers fan. I love what they have done. James Harden. I was
Yeah.
shocked that he was willing to give back money to stay long term with the team.
Right.
Um, Between them and the Bucks are gonna be back.
Yeah.
Just
Definitely.
Toronto's gonna be better. Like it's gonna be a good year overall for the NBA.
Got to include the Heat in there. It's just
Mm,
different, and they all fight in teams, right? Like
mm,
I feel like right now, but those teams they don't remember the last time they really won a championship, right?
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
excluding the Bucks, right? The
Mm,
Bucks, they're still building their foundation, right? To me,
mm,
I feel like the Bucks with that one championship, they started, but I don't think they're done yet. They don't feel like they want to stop there. You know what I mean? Some
mm,
teams they just get that championship and then they just kind of relax. So I
yeah.
think even Toronto is back on that grind too,
I
right?
feel you.
So they could like get recognized as a team
Mm,
that's like always there. Because if you look on the West, you got the Lakers. You know what I mean? You got some others. Obviously, the Warriors now is just like
mhm.
right back to regularly scheduled programming. You know what I mean? So that's just how they looking at the season. But yeah, man, I'm looking to see some good changes.
What are your thoughts? Like, who would you think are going to be the top three seeds in the East this year?
I'm gonna go well with no order right now.
Hmm.
I'm gonna just go Bucks, Miami Heat, and I may say Toronto. I may say Toronto. No, I'm either between Toronto or Cleveland.
Okay. Yeah,
Toronto or Cleveland.
it's gonna be interesting because, like I say, like the regular season is so much different than the playoffs. Like it's the
Yeah,
regular season is mostly about young legs and
yeah,
having like 8 to 10 people that you can go to again and again. And
yeah,
then the
man.
playoffs is like you got seven to eight people that you play. So Toronto, they like say like they're loading up on 6'9" dudes that could
Yeah,
just
they long too,
that can
man.
run. Like they're gonna be top 10 in defense again this year.
Yeah,
And you know, what I mean, Fred VanVleet's gonna be back. He's gonna be balling and everything.
yeah.
I think overall it's gonna be interesting. I think, you know, what I mean, like I'm expecting a big year from, I think Charlotte with LaMelo Ball. It's unfortunate.
Miles.
Miles, yeah,
Yeah,
he's out right now with his like
and
legal issues that he's dealing with right now. But
yeah,
I think Orlando picked up. You know, what I mean, they
okay.
got a bunch of dude. They got Bobo is
Yeah,
down there, and then they got
yeah.
the number one overall draft pick, Paulo Banchero. So it's like the NBA is just like
They still got Cole Anthony on there. They
the
still
code.
got
Yeah,
Suggs on there. So, I think they're building, like
yeah.
that's the team like I wouldn't say I'll put them up there for next year,
Hmm.
but I can definitely like say they're on the lookout for next year. Definitely
Yeah,
like just upcoming teams improvement. Yeah.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah. It's great, and then like the Washington Wizards, like they're going to be. It's crazy. Like Bradley Beal signing long term extension, but they look like they're a six seed or something like that. Like they don't look
Yeah.
like. Yeah, unfortunately, they don't have enough talent.
But at this point, though, like as long as you make it into the playoffs, right?
Hmm.
And your team is somewhat decent, you can make a run.
Yeah,
you can
for
turn
sure.
something around. In the
Yeah,
playoffs.
I don't think anybody saw Boston beating the Nets 4-0 last year. I don't like
No.
that
So,
wasn't.
so what's your thought? Wow, you see how I just skipped past the Nets. So I mean,
Yeah, the
hmm,
Nets, the Sixers.
the Nets, the Sixers. I mean, not saying that the Nets are not going to do good next year. I just think they have a
Hmm.
lot going on right now. Um, which can affect the play.
Yeah.
Now, what are your thoughts on the next predict? Like, because they got swept last year, so and there was some talks about in the off season, about people
Hmm.
leaving, things like that. So,
Yeah.
like, what do you think? What do you think? Are they coming back together? Or are they just making Ben
I, I,
Simmons didn't play yet? Let's
yeah,
factor
true.
that in. You know,
I haven't been a big fan of the Nets, but this year I'm like I think like between Kyrie has something to prove.
okay.
He's unrestricted free agent this
Mm-hmm.
coming summer. Ben
Mm-hmm.
Simmons is trying like to get his life back on track, get his bag
Right.
right. So I think that like overall, I think like the Nets. I wouldn't be surprised if the Nets finish top two or three seeds
Mm-hmm.
and end up like really making a run this year. Like they
So,
overall, they
yeah.
have the highest level talent overall
Yeah. Almost
arguably
in the league.
almost in the
Yeah.
NBA. Like
Yeah.
if Ben Simmons is your third or fourth best player, they got Seth Curry, they got Patty Mills.
Patty Mills.
Like
Yeah.
they are a deep team.
I'm kind
So
of worried about their role players a little bit. I think that they have good starters and everything
yeah,
like that, but I don't know. I have to see and look more into the bench, to
yeah.
see how the role players are going to be panning out. So yeah, I mean, it's so funny that you say that because it's like the Sixers. I actually thought the Sixers was going to go far last year until Embiid got hurt. I
Yeah.
thought y'all were really good because Embiid was doing numbers.
Hmm.
But you just saw like once that injury happened, right?
Hmm.
He kind of fell back with his aggressiveness.
Yeah.
So I saw that and just thought like, man, like they really kind of lost another opportunity. But hopefully they could keep that same like motivation for another 82 game season. So
Bro,
we'll see how
I
that
got a
goes.
surprise team. The Detroit Pistons gonna be in the playoffs. Yo. Like they are deep. They're young. They talented. Yo. And then my guy, their coach is always he's a teacher at heart, so
Mhm,
he's always getting the best out of his players. Like
mhm.
he's the Detroit Pistons. I'm putting
All
them at
right.
like
That's
6 or 7 seed in
okay.
the East.
Okay.
So
Okay. I'm with that.
any final thoughts on what do you expect to see this year?
In general, hmm. I mean, I'm kind of paying attention to the West Coast teams too, like
Mhm.
trying to see what the Lakers do, you
Yeah.
know. trying to see how they put that together, how it's going to work in the backcourt with with Patrick Beverly and Russell Westbrook. I don't know if it's going to be another change happen, before the season start within the Lakers organization, but it looks like they're keeping that. So, I want to see how they put that together.
Yeah, I got you.
And once again, see what the Warriors could do.
Yeah,
Another
yeah, for sure.
another one. Like, they're not even my team, but I would like to see it.
Yeah. All right, man. It was great talking to you tonight. We look forward to speaking with you again in the future, and
Sure.
appreciate your analysis.
We out.
Bye.
Bye, man.